Tired of dealing with annoying flies, fruit flies, and gnats in your home? The Zevo Flying Insect Trap is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description now to get your Zevo Flying Insect Trap on Amazon and enjoy a bug-free home today.
Verdict: nuclear Nazis. Why didn't the Germans build the bomb first? Could they have tried harder? These are some of the intriguing questions posed by Catherine Moore in her engaging, drawing room drama set in the dying days of World War II. First seen last year, at the nearby boutique German Street Theater, the play is based on transcripts of 6 leading German nuclear scientists who were gathered and held by British Major T.H. Rittner at Farm Hall in Cambridgeshire. They include the great subatomic physicist Werner Heisenberg, Alan Cox, and the Nobel Prize-winning pioneer of nuclear fission Otto Hahn, Forbes Masson. Having little better to do in the dilapidated stately home that has become their open prison, they read plays aloud, relate the plots of cowboy films, classify plants in the garden, count doorknobs and invent a parlor game of guess what will be redacted from their letters home. But when the Americans dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, the 6 men who had all been involved in Hitler's nuclear program then lapse into a mix of recrimination, disavowal and envy. Yet despite their varying degrees of loyalty to the fatherland, their self-effacing humor could easily have been written by the Anglophile Tom Stoppard. It's a gathering that feels about as German as the long room at Lord's. No matter. Cox lends charm and self-doubt to Heisenberg, famous for his uncertainty principle, who had been suspected by Hitler's henchmen of being a white Jew for teaching the work of Albert Einstein. And, as if thumbing his nose at Oppenheimer and the Americans, he sketches his own blueprint for a nuclear bomb on a sleepless night. Masson, meanwhile, brings angst to Hahn, blaming himself for the loss of the thousands of lives thanks to his work on splitting the atom. David Yelland is typically urbane and reserved as the anti-Nazi Max von Lau, while Julius Silva is the stiff Nazi semi-apologist Kurt Diebner, who was a leading director of Hitler's nuclear program. Stephen Onwin's tidy production may only detonate comparatively modest theatrical explosions, but it's still a thoughtful and amusing historical snapshot. Verdict: wholesome revival. There's something in the water in Pericles. Incest, murder and sex trafficking, to name just 3 of the nasties in a tale co-written by the Bard and George Wilkins in 1608, about the titular prince of Tyre scouring the Greco-Turkish archipelago in search of a wife. His first call is Antioch, where the king is offering the hand of his daughter to anyone who can solve a riddle outlining his incestuous pedophilia. Get it wrong and you die. Get it right and you die. Pericles scarpers, pursued by an assassin, and sails all over the Mediterranean where, between storms, he gains, loses, and regains a wife and child. It's a dreamlike and sometimes nightmarish folk tale which can defy producers, actors and audiences alike. However, this production, by the RSC's new co-artistic director Tamara Harvey, brings calm, elegance and clarity. Pericles' peregrinations are ornamented with actors creating choreographed friezes like underwater plants, while a wonderful score by Claire Van Kampen, aka Mrs. Mark Rylance, of marimba, saxophone and percussion heaves through the story like the sea, between storms and periods of azure tranquility. The stage is set like a giant loom, with a ship's rigging suggesting the strings of a musical instrument, while costumes create a terracotta palette of burnt red and orange. In the midst of the theatrical swell, Alfred Enoch makes a squeaky clean Pericles. He is tall, handsome, smiling, and yet tortured by fate. Leah Hiley plays his eventual wife. Christian Patterson and Felix Hayes add touches of Harry Seckham and cartoonish caricature as 2 other madcap monarchs, while Rochelle Diderix, as Pericles' virtuous daughter, lives up to her billing as a palace for crowned truth to dwell in. The result is a wholesome revival that disperses the play's sometimes sickly toxins. Verdict: no frills barred. Should you trip when leaving Stratford's Swan Theatre, you may well crash into the temporary Holloway Garden Theatre, where they are staging a no-frills production of Shakespeare's As You Like It. The scaffolding arena is not without charm, but the plastic seats, which seem determined to tip you out, are almost entirely without comfort. You may therefore, like me, find yourself rooting for a rapid Swansea.